Okay, everything is live. Okay, I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so it's Friday night. I call this the Friday Night Live event, and I think it's a good time. I had prepared the script, but I would say that the most important thing is kind of to summarize the week. I also choose this format to tackle questions. We have I've had a ton of comments in our social media regarding our new ads, and regarding an old ad, and regarding the lives as well. So I will. I think I'm gonna start by that. So, and super important. If during today you guys have questions, the easiest thing is comment them. We've got open lines, and the team is over here to help, and I can either moderate, take the questions, or I would say most of the result out of these things is okay, I've got this problem, and what I'll do, I'll find some kind of solution or some protocol. I'll find someone else that knows how you can be helped by that. So one of the questions that I had was this. This was in a previous life. Who wins in a fight? Got it? Who wins in a fight? A 250-pound. I think I think what they said was something like, who wins in a fight is a 250-pound male, or how is this? I got very. Who wins in a fight? Is it? Yeah, here we go. Who wins in a fight? Is it a 250-pound male or a black belt? And what I said was something very direct, like it depends, right? It depends. If you're 250 pounds, it depends on how your pounds are organized, right? So like I've seen guys, and I've essentially I've wrestled with people. 250 pounds. How much is that in kilos? Um, it's a lot, and I know it's a lot. 250. Yeah, that's 113 kilo person. Look, it does depend. Um, Heavyweights, if they know how to box, if they know how to throw a punch, that's very, very hard. Okay, Um, I do remember probably my first experience coming out of karate. I did a lot of point fighting in karate, and then I moved that through other things. Like I remember getting a hook from 80 kilograms, so 160. Getting a hook, I throw a jab, I throw a cross, he gets out of the line, bang, man, that thing, like, I was shocked. First of all, I was shocked because the trajectory of that thing wasn't part of my game. Okay, karate has, at least in the competitive side, has evolved more in the linear thing. Like I'm gonna find the direct way, and that worked really well. If you think about Machida in the UFC, he is like he ruled that. And then of course he found John Jones, and John Jones got him with the circular technique. Obviously, right? Not obvious, but it's part of the game. But the point in here is uh, my view. Okay, the point in here is it does depend on who you face. So now mass and weight do have their own. I'm going to call it their own quality. Okay, if you have to fight someone, I hope not. Okay, don't think it's because he's small, or if someone is big and this, I'm going to say, has more body mass or like people can say is fat. And this is not like, I'm not going against people that are they have more body weight, but weight in terms of you can see that, okay, this is not muscular. But don't think about that. Like you get tons of examples of fighters that had not the shape that you would consider with the, the six pack and all of that, and these guys can fight. Like think about Bob Sapp, right? Like tremendous fighter coming out of American football, 300 pounds. He would annihilate persons until someone hit him in the leg really hard. I think it was in Erste or was it in reverse, and he got down. So being clear, I think that it does depend on the mass of the person, and this is a bit like, oh, who wins in a fight? Is it a black belt in jiu-jitsu and a black belt in karate? Man, if the fight goes to the ground, the black belt in jiu-jitsu most likely wins. If the fight is on top, if there is even a fight on top, most likely that person from karate wins. But there is so much variation on what is that person's training, what are their capabilities, what are the things that they do, that it's very hard to pick up on that and decide this is who is the best at that segment than the others. Now, because not everyone, I'm bringing our buddy here. Remember these guys, he does not have a name yet, so we need a name for him. Is our mechanical buddy. Not perfectly fine because it can do this, like, right? But it allows us to see a lot of things. Plus, he has like extremely long legs. Got it? Extremely long legs. In terms of let me share this with you. I think this will be valuable for you. The 3 body types. Um, it's curious because I'm a mesomorph, so essentially, just think about it. When you want a mesomorph, you guys gain weight really easy. Okay, I think that's the easiest way to. If you want to think about that, a mesomorph gains weight really well, gains weight on his tummy, and but man, it can be a force to reckon. Okay, so depending on how you are, not everyone is like this. Okay, skinny, tall, long legs. You need to adapt your learning to your type of body. Let me see if I can put you a link in here to the 3 body types. I think that's a super important thing to think or to use. Yeah, the 3 primary body types. Ectomorph is lean and thin. Those guys that, and I have a couple of students that are like that. They are like long limbs, small joints, narrow chest, hard time gaining muscle and fat. They have extremely fat metabolism. Those persons that can eat everything. So we do need them to do more compound fitness. Essentially deadlifts, anything that builds muscle. We should avoid excessive cardio for them. Think about long striking sessions. They're not good for them. Mesomorph. Oh no, I was an endomorph. Okay, here we go. Mesomorph. Natural muscular, athletic, medium frame, broad shoulders, narrow hips, efficient at gaining and losing weight. Not my case. I need to do a lot of work on that. Metabolism is efficient. The fitness. To be fair, this is a person that can respond well to everything. It's not too tall. It's not. It depends. But essentially, you want to look at his jaw. Okay, and some of these guys in the mesomorph, they're like a big jaw. I'm not saying they look like a Neanderthal, but I've seen them like very bulky. And then you got the endomorph, softer, rounder, larger bone structure, store fat easily, can build muscle easily. Yeah. So when I did judo for a long time, man, and even jujitsu, essentially from the throws, I would just grow these things over here. It's so interesting. So I'll share with you an article from the NASM, National Association of Strength and strength. Okay. And of course, these guys say that they are the most respected ones, but I think you get the idea. Okay, body types: mesomorph, ectomorphs, and endomorphs explained from a coach called Andrew Payne. Let me give you all. Let me give you all the link. I think it's super important in terms of culture to get yourself knowing what's your body type, and also how can you narrow the choices in terms of your. There we go. Okay, narrow the choices in terms of the things that you want to do, and how do you train for these? I would say because of the exposure of our studio, we have a lot of people training. We have every kind. Okay, men and women. They all. We don't have a preferred type, obviously, but let me share my screen to you. I'll walk you through that. So that came out of the discussion: who wins in a fight? Okay, it does depend. I think it's more important for you to know what am I, and how do I. Okay, there we go. So let me share this screen. Okay, do you have trouble losing fat? It seems to gain every day. We'll walk you through the article, okay? Because they have, obviously, like everything, it's super important that you have the understanding that, yeah, it was back in the 1940s, it got these three somatotypes, okay? Endomorph, mesomorph, and ectomorph. And this is also something interesting because as a fighter, I evolved from a certain type of way of fighting to another one. Endomorphs have bodies that are always rounded and soft. Mesomorphs is always square and muscular, and ectomorphs are always thin and fine-bowed. He theorized that the three body types directly influence the person's personality. Oh man, this is so true. Right? This is so true. And I can tell you that we can see this. I think it's a spectrum as well. And you'll see that during life, you'll change. It's hard to change your physiology, but I'll give you an example. I'll give you a very, very good example. And Dr. Huberman from the Huberman Lab talks about something that it's called the entrainment level. And remember you said like, oh, I'm not a morning person. Well, you can change that. I can give you my experience, okay? And yeah, this is cool because it shows ectomorphs, mesomorphs, and endomorphs. Super interesting. Okay, how to train mesomorphs, and I think this is super. Yeah, this is very interesting in here. The fact that look, it even talks about the type of the type sumo wrestler. You want an extreme endomorph, right? They have like these big bellies, and it doesn't mean that they are not flexible. Okay, and they are really strong. Extreme exomorph bodybuilder, okay, 100-meter sprinter. I love this type of body. I've never had it, but I love this type of body. Ultramarathon, I don't love it, to be fair. I think my wife loves more than 100-meter sprinter, so I'm trying to be like that. Average fitness and nutrition customers. This is what I just would say, something to think about. Average, it's a hard thing. Yeah. So if you guys message me, I also have an assessment on understanding of what type of fighter are you, okay, based on a set of characteristics. And I think that's should. Hello guys, welcome to the night show. But I think this gives you a good idea that from the fact that you start with existing somatotype characteristics, ectomorph, enzomorph, and mesomorph. You start with that and you can change them. And the point that I'm taking or making is that you can also change the way that you are regarding your mornings. And it combines with 3 factors, okay? And I didn't know them. I got really surprised, but I tested them and they all seem right, okay? I think they are more based on the physiology and the biochemic, on the chemics of it. And these are the 3 factors. One is waking up early. First of all, waking up early is really hard, okay? But I've been training 4 days a week now, early morning, 5:30 a.m. with the F3. That's the F3 Nation. It's a non-profit group. We meet every day in the morning, and F3 stands for fitness, faith, and fellowship. Something different from Krav Maga, but a very, very interesting spirit. But it does help me a lot because I wanted to find the community today. But to the point that we are talking about in terms of the practice, I would say, guys, that the key thing for your morning is the following. Wake up early and see sunlight, okay? If you see sunlight, there is something that is your internal circadian rhythm starts to get entangled and in tune with the sun. The sun wakes up, or even before you start waking up, so you are going to start getting that tuning. The second thing is physical exercise or working out. The simplest way is working out. You do need to work out. I don't think it works only. It works only for walking. I can look more into that, but if you want to think about that, you do some physical exercise early in the morning, and then community. And this is so weird. Mini community, like social event, okay? People start talking, they start addressing you, start addressing them. Okay, if you put these 3 things combined, you are effectively able to change your morning. I'm testing it on myself, and it does. It does make that. It does make a lot of changes in the way that you can change your mornings. And guess what? When you wake up at 4:30 a.m., I wake up at 4:20, then I meditate for 20 minutes. Man, I can tell you that the day is way longer, okay? But you do need to take care with the night before, like a bit like what I am. We'll be staying in here a bit more to take any Q&As, like the one that we've talked about. But I would say you can change your routine based on tapping into your physiology. Got to do these 3 elements. So that was one question regarding who wins, right? In that fight. I hope that the user comes back, and if he comes back and he listens to this, that's fine. I don't think there is like a recipe for that, but I do know there is ways to train and diet for which one of your body types, and you should be able to identify. Take the assessment over there, and then come back to me if you have questions on how can I train if I'm an ectomorph, or how can I train martial arts, in this case self-defense, with this my body type, my behaviors day to day, like what do I do, and how can I make the best of this, because that's really important. So how can you make the best of the body that you have? And remember, specifically for self-defense, I would say probably for everything, but in here, guys, this is the body that you have. Your legs are not going to grow. So that's not true. Your legs are not going to grow. Your striking range it's not going to change that much. Of course, with time, you can put more of your shoulders and more technique and more hip, but it's not going to change your body. Your limbs are not going to change. What will change is the way that you use them. I think that's something to think about. And I think that's it. Like, you are able to change things based on a set of routines, and I love that one because I'm feeling it in myself. And you are also, based on what you are, be able to change and create a training program that really works for you. I'm in love with that concept and idea, because when you put everyone in a room, we are training, you are I'm going to call debating, okay, and learning how to fight better, learning how to defend yourself with the tools that you have, and then at the same time, the other person is doing the same. So something really important to find an environment that is supportive, like really supportive of this change. You guys will love it. So if you like this content, if you are into learning how to defend yourself, DM ready, and I will help you out. We have an awesome team that can do tons of things, like tons of transformations, from helping you lose weight, and like that's a reality, but essentially become stronger, and at the same time, these are all ends, okay, and at the same time, learn how to defend yourself. Enjoy your night. This was the Friday night live show. I shall see you tomorrow, and remember, super important, train every day.